Hello and welcome back to my playthrough of Kerbal Space Program. This is episode 13 and this is just continuing on with the probes that we've got in the Joolian system. So we're just collecting as much science as we can. And as you can see, we're having quite a bit of trouble with keeping the batteries charged. There's just not enough power coming off of these solar arrays to run the ScanSat satellite mapper and do the transmitting back at the same time. So what I'm going to end up having to do is just collect all the data, transmit that back, and then switch the ScanSat mapping service on. I must have not had this alarm set up correctly because we seem to have jumped past it, and we're now past the entrance into the sphere of influence. I'm now going to have to set up and just see if we've got enough fuel to burn retrograde and try and capture within this system so we don't lose the probe altogether. Luckily it's one of the nuclear powered thrusters, so we get really high ISP, so the fuel should last us quite some time, but we do need like a 3000 meter per second burn to stay in orbit around Jool. I'm just playing around with the manoeuvre node to see if there's any more efficient way of capturing, whether it's better to burn later when you're moving slower or just do it now. It seems best to just keep on and do it. So now we've captured within that Joolian system, our periapsis is close to one of the planets, that one highlighted in green. I think that's Tylo. We just need to do a burn at the descending node to try and match the plane so that we can try and get an encounter there. So we're back to our other probe now and trying to capture as much science as possible, using all the experiments again and transmitting all that information back. And as you can see, we're running out of electric charge. The solar arrays just aren't powerful enough. So now we've left Tylo sphere of influence. It's time to set up a manoeuvre node to try and get an encounter with the next moon of Jool. So I'm just going to set that up now at the upper apsis. Of course, we can just leave these probes here. We've got countless time to make encounters and stuff. Okay, we've jumped back now to the Jool lander. This is the probe that I'd envisaged landing on one of the moons, but I think the error braking was too high. We just didn't have enough delta V now. So I'm making a burn to get an encounter with the nearest moon of Jool, and that'll probably use up most of our fuel. Hopefully we'll be able to get a capture around the moon and use our experiments to do some mapping or just collect the science at those altitudes. So that's the burn done. We'll just set up an alarm for the sphere of influence change so that we can then get a capture around that moon. Okay, our periapsis is far too low, so we're going to have to burn at some point to raise that periapsis so that we can get a nice polar orbit around Lathe. But while we're high above Lathe, it's worthwhile collecting as much science as we can from this altitude. So we're just going to point north and burn until the periapsis is raised. We're not crashing into the surface. We should get a reasonable periapsis, and then we can burn there and circularize. I think this manoeuvre is going to use pretty much all of the fuel that we've got left on this lander. I don't think we'll be able to move anywhere after we've captured around this planet, so we're going to be stuck here. I'm just going to switch off this ScanSat mapping service tool thing so that we can transmit all of the science back that we've collected. Try and max out all of those things, and then we can switch that back on, and hopefully we should get some mapping data back, even though we're obviously power limited. So again, it's just a case of like rinse and repeat. We'll capture as much science as we can with the tools that we can. Wait for the batteries to recharge so we can transmit the information back, and just keep repeating that process, trying to point this solar rays, both the solar rays, straight on at the sun as much as possible. And that's it. Once all that data's gone up, I'm going to switch on the multispectral scan, which is part of the ScanSat package, so that we can start mapping Lathe, and I'll do the same with the other probes as well. Well, again, thanks very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more. There's more to come.